Hello, my name's Chris Millar, and today we're going to be talking about Nala, which is Milo's test automation framework for automated end-to-end tests and automated integration tests, all powered by Microsoft Playwright. So let's get started. The first thing we're going to do is go ahead and copy. So we're going to pull down Nala to our local project. Git clone. Then we're going to install, so cd Nala, npm install. The next thing we can do is run tests, and we actually have some samples here of things we can do. So let's just do an npm test. You can see that we have 48 tests and we're using 10 different workers. This is running tests against Firefox, Chrome, and WebKit. Great, so it looks like we have 48 tests that have passed. Now, if you want to narrow in on a test, you can also run something like npm test large but. So we'll copy this, paste it, and you'll see that we're running a lot less tests. We're running 3 tests with 3 workers. Everything is passed. Looking pretty good. You can also test a consumer. So if you have, let's say, Baycom is one of our consumers, and we can run this, and this will run every single test that is targeting the Baycom environment. So we'll see we're looking at columns, we're looking for failed blocks. You can also test unique branches. As we know, if we go to Milo, we have several, and in fact we'll look at a pull request. So we have, let's say, tabs. So we can say tabbed section. So of course, if I open up, we have some before and afters. We're looking at a Milo project, so we have an after. So let's look at tabbed sections. So we can see this particular. So we want to test if this branch is going to break any of our consumers. So we can copy this, and we can say export branch equals, and then we can run our test, and we'll run it against Baycom. Now what you can see over here is that we're running against MiloLib's tab sections. So if we were to look at this, we can find out if there's any regressions. So here it is. So we can scroll down and we can see that this particular PR or this particular branch of Milo is not going to break a particular customer. Now that we've seen how Nala runs tests, let's go look at the code base. I'll switch over to Visual Studio Code. We will open, and we will find Nala here. Select open. All right, there's a couple pieces of how Nala works, and we have our environments, we have our features, and then we have our actual tests. These areas of concern is really what makes up how Nala works so efficiently and easily. The first thing is you can define your different environments here. So we have Milo as our sort of base. You'll see we're looking at hlx.live, so that means we're looking at the live content of a site. And we have our other consumers, so Baycom, Baycom blog, stock, Acrobat, and blog. These are all the different Milo consumers. So we can define environments there. The next thing is our specs. So let's go into column spec. Here you can see that we have our name of our particular spec or a particular feature, the path that it needs to be run on, and the environments that it could be run on. So here you can see we have other particular paths that may run on Baycom blog and on blog, and then we have the individual tags. And these tags are important because it really helps the Playwright locator find a particular element that we expect to be on the page and visible. And if we look at marquee, you can see that you can even run against multiple environments. So if you have a particular path that is available on multiple environments, that is also available too. In the case of failed block, you can also have multiple paths. So if you have a consumer that has several critical pages that you want to run tests against, you can also supply multiple paths. This is very helpful for us when we make to ensure that a customer will not break upon pull request. And then lastly, we have the failed block, or we have the actual tests. So here you can see we break down those specs into individual items per environment, per tag, per path. And those get broken down in the parse.js. I won't go too much into that. And we basically we test each one of those particular features. And then you can have as many expects as you want. So we have a couple. We expect columns to be visible. We expect the count to be greater than 0. So we expect to have some counts on, or we expect to have some columns there. It's really quite simple. In the case of failed block, we expect there to be 0 failed blocks. And if we do, we should know about it. So we're going to find out the reason why that particular block failed, and we'll log it out to the console. So you can see writing tests is very simple. And if you want to add new URLs or add new tags, you can just do that up in the spec file. All right, let's see what happens when someone submits a pull request in Milo. There we are. We can see that Nala demo has recently had. So we can open up a new pull request. I'm going to remove all this extra stuff because it's really not needed. We can see that we have a very simple contrived README change. And what you can do when you want Nala to run, you can add these labels. So you can say run Nala, and so that will run the entire suite. If you want to run on, again, like a tag or a particular feature or a particular environment, you can also do that. So here we're just going to say, you know what, we want you to run the marquee tests. Again, very contrived. We obviously didn't change anything about the marquee, but if a particular PR came in that would be potentially affecting marquee, we can specifically call out the marquee test. So we'll create the pull request, and you will see we have Nala tests that are currently being run. Without run Nala, this test, this check will be completely skipped. So we're going to go into details. We can see what's going on. So it's setting up the job. Okay. We can see right here that it's going to grep for the marquee tests. This is installing VMs, installing the different browsers, installing a couple dependencies, because these are running the actual browsers, because this is true automated end-to-end integration tests. All right, these tests are starting to roll in, and you can see that on Baycom, we are running against MiloLib's Nala demo, and we can see that if we're on Milo itself, we are simply using the Milo demo branch. So it looks like we have 18 tests, and they all passed. That's great. And we can go look at the summary. So if we click into summary, and we can see that 18 tests have passed. And hooray, this is Nala, the Milo test automation framework. Thanks.